let's discuss the Apple Vision Pro. I have an article here, website mount again. We're on roadtovr.com, giving the credit to the writers here, as we do. So this is talking about how much apps there are now. And I just want to talk about this in the sense of like, I don't have an Apple Vision Pro to give you guys content on that, unfortunately, at least directly from a hands-on point of view. So obviously, again, anything that you can do to support the channel will help me invest in such a thing and give you some coverage on spatial computing from the perspective of integer and lay, as far as, the book of, so to speak. So in this article, they're talking about the fact that there's now 1,000+ Vision Pro native apps available. This is a February 19th article, so it must be even more now. And, I suppose we expected there to be a lot of developers interested in making for Apple products, because if you get on early, just like the old days of the App Store and iTunes and that, it was a lot of money to be made. There was a time where you could make fart apps and you make money. It's kind of interesting, the parallels between this and content creation in general, where people seem to not be able to grasp, but there's a difference between doing the things that worked 10 years ago versus now. 10 years ago when a platform was new, like a Twitch or anything else, you could just do the simple things. Just being able to do the thing was enough. But obviously in 2024 and beyond, you can't do what worked 10, 15 years ago. You now have to do different things. I mean, now we have mobile phone apps that can let us catch a ride before we can even put our shoes on. I remember days you'd call up for a taxi or whatever, and it would take like half an hour to an hour, before you even got to leave, and the thing would be there, much less it be the right cab and it be a legit one as well, and not some pervert or something. So times have changed, obviously. You have to change with times, and so it's not surprising that so many people are building apps so quickly for it. What is interesting, as I guess, is how many of you guys actually have this thing that are listening to this, watching this podcast. How many of you actually have a Vision Pro? Do you think that's a thing that is going to be standard? Do you think it's more as a glimpse into the future, so to speak? Because, man, it's very expensive. It's $3,500. I don't think it's officially available in the UK yet, where I am located. And there's not support yet, last we checked, of official support from the likes of like Spotify and Google. So let me just kind of go through a little bit of the article here. So we have it's 1,000+ apps designed for Vision Pro, and that's a fair sight more than 600 apps reported by the company right before the headset's February the 2nd launch. It's launched February the 2nd, so this is some good progress. It just goes to show as well how difficult it can be to stand out if you're an app maker or a game maker or what have you. It really is about the eyeballs you get and not launch. It used to be launching was king, but now you have to be careful about how you go about these things, because you can end up getting nothing. So it's pretty interesting scenario and situation. So if we go down here, so notably there are some apps that have opted out entirely, including Facebook, Spotify, Google via YouTube, Facebook via Meta, and Netflix. Right, also it's accessible via Safari, which is Apple's browser. Although it's hard to imagine it's not a clear snub at Apple. So I guess a lot of them are or were holding out. Understandably as well, obviously, Facebook, aka Meta, or Meta, aka Facebook, have their own device, the Quest 3 and the Quest Pro, building the Quest Pro 2, Quest Pro 2 coming up, I think, with LG. And so they have a reason, I suppose, as well to not want to. Spotify, I guess Spotify is just holding out to see if it's going to be worth the development. They're more in the music, obviously, and the podcasting space, ironically. And then we also have, obviously, keep saying obviously, I gotta stop saying obviously every minute. We have Google, aka YouTube. What's their line of things? They've tried the VR devices a few times. They don't have as much of axe to grind. So there should be, I think that could be interesting. Maybe they're waiting out as well, but in terms of whether it's worth the resources and so forth. And then Netflix, probably the same deal. So most of them probably looking at it as a wait and see. I think if it was a $500 device, or even maybe a $1,000 device, they probably would all be on board for the most part. But because it's so expensive, it does feel like it's not going to be something that many people have. So it doesn't feel like it's a great resource of time and money at the moment. You're taking a chance. You're taking a chance with it. So some of them are holding out and waiting. Continuing in the article here, it says, well, these are the parts that I've highlighted, by the way, so I'm kind of doing my due diligence beforehand for you guys to not waste time. Some third-party developers are looking to capitalize on a lack of mobile computing essentials like Spotify and YouTube, aforementioned, by offering paid apps. So they're offering paid versions to the same thing that you probably would expect will be standard. Such examples are Vision Tunes app for Spotify and Juno for YouTube, now floating around in the App Store. So none of these are free. Because of the lack of free support, they're taking advantage for now and trying to get that money, trying to get that bag. And apparently the most expensive Vision Pro app at the time of this article is one called Lively Elements, which lets you interact with the periodic table of elements, scientific elements, for an easy one-time payment of $98. What a bargain. What do you guys think? Lily, what do you think about a $98 app that lets you interact with the periodic table of elements? Does it sound elementary to you?
$98? Whew, that's a pretty penny for virtual elements. It must be quite the immersive experience to command such a price tag. I guess for some die-hard science fans or educators, it could be a dazzling way to explore the periodic table. Still, it might just set a new benchmark for premium in the app world. Let's hope it comes with some serious virtual fireworks for each element at that price.
Man, that's wild. It's a wild price. So yeah, where do you guys stand on it? What do you think of the Vision Pro? Do you have one? Do you want to see coverage of the Vision Pro, whether it be speculative or otherwise? Do you care? Do you think it's overpriced? Do you think it's overhyped? Or do you think it's just a glimpse into the future? From my perspective, I think that is where things want to be, especially in terms of productivity. I've got another video where I discuss the differences between VR, AR, XR, and MR, which is virtual reality or augmented reality, mixed reality, extended reality. And I have come to the conclusion on that basis and research, and that the Apple Vision Pro is not a VR device. It's not even VR. It is really a mixed reality stroke spatial computing or stroke advanced version. I like to think of spatial computing as an advanced version of mixed reality, at least in this example, whereby you're taking the technology of mixed reality and you're upping it by making it faster, adding some AI stuff and making it respond in real time, so that you can have things like floating calculators on your living room wall, as it says there at the top of the article, or have your, I don't know, Word docs or whatever it is, the apps for the Apple, floating across your desk, and you can interact with them and so forth. But it doesn't have any capability directly of taking anything that is like your games from your PC or your Steam or whatever, and then enveloping yourself in a full interactive VR experience, is what is classed as VR when it comes to VR itself. So it's an interesting situation. What do you guys think then? Vision Pro or Vision No? Let me know your thoughts in the comments on whatever platform you're watching on, and maybe I'll throw a poll as well. Look for any relevant links and any interaction opportunities within the description, pinned comment, or whatever is the relevant facsimile to whatever platform. I couldn't think of another word there. Sounds really old-fashioned or maybe too deep. But you know what I mean, whatever's similar. Cool.